What are the characteristics of a modern computer? The first thing that comes to your mind when you talk about computers is speed. Computers can perform operations or calculations at extremely high speeds for a very simple reason that they are a machine. Just as I told you earlier, your car is a machine, your bike is a machine. Can you run as long or as fast as your bike? Absolutely not, because it's a machine. You can't compete against a machine. So similarly, a computer is an electronic machine which performs calculations at very, very high speed. Its speed of calculation is so fast that it is measured in terms of 1,000th of a second, 1 millionth of a second, and even 1 billionth of a second. So the speed is measured in terms of micro, nano, or even something called as picoseconds. Whereas human beings' performance is measured in terms of minutes, hours, days, and even more. Memory. Now, if you had looked at the model of a computer, it had input, there was a process, and there was something called as the storage. So a computer needs memory for the very simple fact that any calculation or any program that is going to be executed by the computer, it is required that the data and instructions stay in the main memory. So what it really means is a computer has two types of memory. One is the main memory, or also known as the RAM, and the other is the secondary memory, known as the auxiliary storage, or also known as the secondary storage. So the main memory of the computer is referred to as generally the RAM, or also just simply by the word memory, whereas the secondary memory, like your hard disk or your floppy drives or your it could be your pen drives, these are all examples of storage devices. So things or programs or data which are being currently executed by a computer happen to reside in the RAM or the main memory. It is a volatile memory in the sense when power is switched off, everything is going to be lost from it. Whereas data and code or any information which is to be of a permanent nature and which is required for longer time or has to be stored permanently is going to be in your secondary storage or your auxiliary storage. You need to understand one thing here. For any processing to take place, the data and instructions or your program should be in the main memory or the RAM. Anything which is not in the RAM, data and programs will reside in the secondary memory. Now, computers are famous for being highly accurate. Being a machine, provided you give it correct data and instructions, it's going to provide you 100% correct results each and every time you run. As opposed to humans, humans can make calculation mistakes due to fatigue, boredom, tiredness, disinterestedness, and so on. But being a machine, it is not subject to any of these emotions, and it's going to provide you the correct result each and every time you're going to execute it. Except that there's a very famous terminology you need to understand called as GIGO. What it means is garbage in, garbage out. The meaning of this term is if you give it wrong data and wrong instructions, it is going to provide wrong output for you. That's the meaning of this word garbage in, garbage out. What is this word versatility? Using your computer, you can watch online lectures, play video games, watch movies, book online tickets, do railway reservation, okay, book your online driving license appointment, and you can do innumerable number of tasks using the same computer being highly accurate. So computer is able to do a variety of tasks based on the application you require with a high degree of accuracy. Automatic. Provided you provide or give a computer the right data and instructions and you give all the steps in the correct manner, the computer is going to execute that particular series of instructions or that complete program step by step automatically without the intervention or without the involvement of human being by itself. So the advantage of a computer is you do not have to keep monitoring what it is doing. Once you give the current data and instructions, it is going to process the data as per the instructions specified. It is going to complete this processing automatically. That means without the involvement of a human being at every step and provide you the final result and then halt. So this is a great advantage of a computer because you do not need to keep sitting on it or supervising or watching it to produce the correct result automatically. Then there are final 2 points which a computer is quite famous for, and that is one of the major reasons why it is also extensively used. The first being it's a diligent machine, or its characteristic is that it is extremely diligent. Now, if I tell you, write this entire notes provided by me 1000 times, you're obviously going to get at the minimum really angry, or if you're forced to do, you're really going to get tired, bored, and frustrated. But if I ask a computer to keep copying this notes 1000, 10,000 million times, it's going to do it without any frustration because obviously it's a machine. So it doesn't suffer from human problems like being bored, frustrated, angry, tired, and lack of accuracy. So, as it's an electronic machine, it is highly diligent. That means it can do a task accurately without getting bored, frustrated, and tired. So, that's a huge advantage over humans. Lastly, and most importantly, it's a highly cost effective or a cost saving device. Typically, what can be done by 4 or 5 people can be easily be done by a single computer. You are quite young, but you have not seen the operations of banks when they were not having computers. For the same task, you had 5 or 6 people. For somebody just making an entry into the passbook, you had somebody sitting separately. But now you have an automatic printer. You just have to put in your passbook and it prints it for you. So, computer is highly cost effective. It saves you in terms of time, money, labor. It is fast, it is accurate, and most importantly, by reducing the cost, it helps your business become profitable. So, a computer typically is able to do many tasks which are required by a to be done by multiple human beings. So, these are generally the broad characteristics or features of what a digital computer possesses. In our next session, we'll try to take a look at one more mini lecture on this particular chapter overview of